a apresentar lar de desperdício.
This lot need help. They're spending 11 times the national average on gas, 6 times on food, more than twice on electricity, and are chucking out nearly 3 times the amount of rubbish. It's a good thing Penny can help them curb their consumer chaos.
John, you were wondering where the timer was. Well, it was in the cupboard all the time.
Okay.
Now, I'd like you to start using this timer,
Right.
and I don't want to see the thermostat any higher than 21 degrees. Marianne, you currently do 20 loads of washing a week.
Yes.
And use your tumble dryer 20 times a week.
Yes.
Well, times they are a-changing.
No.
I'm going to ration you to 10 loads of washing a week, and you can only use your tumbler dryer 5 times a week. And the rest of the time, come back here, girl. The rest of the time, you learn to love your whirligig.
No, I can't. It's impossible.
Well, I found a great way to deal with all your kitchen waste. Chickens!
Brilliant.
The only thing you can't feed them is meat and salt.
And they'll eat everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Oh, that's great. Oh, they're great, aren't they, girls? What should we call them?
Chicken
Fantastic! What brilliant names.
Brilliant names. They'll only cost you about 3p a day to feed,
Brilliant.
and you get eggs, so that helps with the food bill.
Great.
Any kitchen waste the chickens can't cope with, that's things like meat, poultry, bones, dairy produce, can go straight into this cone. John, get you to do this job. Dig a hole so that you can get this sort of laundry basket looking thing into the hole. The point of that is that the holes are small enough to prevent vermin and foxes getting in, but it lets the worms in.
I think I've heard about these, yeah.
And all you do, you then have this in your kitchen, and all the scraps goes into here, then you just bring it down, empty it into the cone, stick the lid on, and the worms will do the rest.
She's come up with a stylish way to help Marianne cut down on all her washing. The jumpsuit, a practical solution for playing outside.
Absolutely brilliant. I want one. You know, March.
This week, the Tibbets are going to have to cut their gas and electricity bills by half, and Marianne will have to halve the amount she spends on food. They will also need to reduce their rubbish from 17 bags a week to 3. They've got a week to get used to living by halves before Penny's back.
Thankfully, not everyone is as wasteful as the Tibbets. Here in this home in Lincolnshire, there are the same number of adults, the same number of children, but it's a very different story.
The Gusto Allington development is a revolution in house design. Each of the 5 houses has been built using cutting-edge eco-technology. They use a fraction of the energy required for a typical house. The 10 square meters of photovoltaic solar cells on the roof harvest the energy from the sun and turn it into electricity.
This provides the house with 1/5 of its electricity needs, and if more is generated than needed, it can be sold back to the grid.
On a sunny day, it's enough to power 50 low-energy light bulbs. The household's water supply runs through tiny pipes hidden inside a bank of solar thermal panels. This allows the sun to heat their water to boiling point.
It's enough to provide hot water for at least 6 months of the year.
For the rest of the year, the house uses gas and electricity like any other, but even then it's very efficient. Most modern homes have cavity walls, but here, the space inside them is 3 times the normal size, so virtually no heat is lost through the walls.
Look at this. This house is so well insulated.
And this is recycled newspaper, which makes excellent insulation.
This state-of-the-art heat exchange unit wastes nothing. It sucks out the warm, moist air from the bathrooms and drying room. The moisture is removed, and the latent heat then warms fresh air drawn in from the outside. This warmed air is then pumped back into the house. It's free heat, meaning that even in winter, the radiators only need to be turned on for an hour a day.
This house costs the same amount to run as a small flat. Just because your house is big doesn't mean to say your bills have to be.
At Tibbet Towers, it's the first day of the new regime. The girls are keen to try out their boiler suits. Luckily for Marianne, it looks like they're a hit.
Who wants to carry the bar?
Marianne's on a shopping budget. Determined not to blow it all at the supermarket, she's decided to do a weekly shop at the farm shop and local butchers.
Okay, how much am I up to so far?
£12.86.
That's lovely, okay.
They've been told to use the central heating timer, but they can't find the manual. So they reduce the temperature at the thermostat, but not by much. It's a new day, and the girls are counting their chickens. They've been eating Marianne's food scraps, and the girls are desperate for them to lay.
No eggs yet!
The boiler suits have been a hit outside, but what's the point if Marianne's still letting the girls change their clothes as often as they like inside? It may explain why her piles of washing just aren't getting any smaller.
I feel really irritated. I've got all this washing to do, and I'm only allowed to do one wash a day, and it's simply not plausible because what do? I can either overload my machine, and I'm washing at a lower temperature anyway, so nothing's going to get clean, or I do one wash a day, and all this lot's just going to stack up.
The girls seem to be enjoying their new lifestyle, but it's been a tough first week for Marianne. She is following some of Penny's advice, though. She started recycling the family's food waste and is even saving some of her leftovers. Could the worm be turning? And the whole family seems to be surviving the new temperate climate in the house.
I like this fleecy because it keeps me warm.
But the piles of clothes discarded by her fashion-conscious children are still causing Marianne grief. And there's still one area of energy efficiency the Tibbets have neglected: their lights. They're still leaving them on 24/7, so how are they ever going to halve their electricity bill?
Estamos apresentando Lar de Desperdício.